Hi, I'm Kathy Bolstorff, the physical therapist here at MS Workouts. I've specialized in MS and neurological rehab for more than 25 years. And because I live with MS myself, I've had to navigate the world of foot drop devices personally. I know how overwhelming it can be, and today I want to help make sense of it for you. In this video, I'll share my top recommendations and help you understand what might work best for you. I've also put together a free PDF guide that lists the devices we cover today. Just click the link below to download it and keep it handy. Remember, devices can help, but they work even better when your body is strong and prepared. Keep practicing what you've learned here and use this guide as a supportive tool along the way. It's pretty darn common to have foot drop with MS, and it's, there's different kinds of foot drop. A more simple kind of foot drop affects the peripheral nerve, where that doesn't work well and the foot just won't lift up. That's one way to do it. Ours is a little more complicated because with MS, it's not a peripheral nerve, it's the central nervous system. So our brain and our spinal cord, because of the fact that our body is attacking its own myelin, if there's some nerves that are demyelinated that affect those muscles that lift the foot, that's going to cause, weakness, lack of communication between that nerve and muscle. And so that foot's not going to lift up every time you want it to. In addition to complicating that, so if you can see the diagram there, it's showing how the foot, the lateral view is kind of dropped, and it's supposed to be more like an L, more of a 90-degree angle. In fact, when we walk, normally that foot should lift not just to neutral, not just to 90 degrees, but actually 10 to 20 degrees further up than neutral, so you can clear your foot better. With MS, either those nerves are demyelinated and so those muscles are weaker, or you have increased spasticity and tightness to the calf muscles, the muscles that point your toe, what they call the plantar flexors. That includes your gastrocnemius, the soleus, a couple other little muscles in the calf. And if those are tight and spastic, then that also makes it hard to lift the foot. Or you have a combination of those two things, which is what most of us have. We have weak dorsiflexors, tight plantar flexors, and so the combination of those two things make it difficult to lift that foot when we need to clear it in our gait cycle. One of the nice things about MS workouts is that they have exercises for strengthening the dorsiflexors, stretching the plantar flexors, which I really encourage you guys to do. They've got yoga for foot dorsiflexion. They've got a regular strength training class. They also include the strength training in all the daily strength routines. Then there's like separate ones for just stretching the foot and the calf and the ankle. So you can stretch, you can do strengthening. They even have a yoga class for foot drop. So I'd encourage everyone to at least do those a couple times a week. And on your off days, even if you're not doing strengthening, do some more stretching of those plantar flexors. Do a specialty foot drop class. That would be really helpful if you're experiencing that. So that's mainly the causes of foot drop. The other thing that doesn't really involve the ankle, and the musculature and nerves are on the ankle, but can still cause problems with catching your toes, is your hip flexors and your knee flexors. So if you can't lift your knee up high enough or bend your knee enough to clear your foot, even if you've got decent strength in those ankles, you still might catch your toe. But that's another lecture. Today we're just going to kind of talk about just the lower leg, the ankle, and the foot, and what happens there. So definitely a couple different reasons. So strengthening the foot, strengthening the ankle dorsiflexors, and stretching the plantar flexors are the way to try to work on it first. If that doesn't work, then we've got options. So there's a bunch of different, what they call off-the-shelf devices that can be used. That first picture is by a company called Sabo, called the Sabo Step. Now, the thing about the off-the-shelf ones is that they can be very useful, but they're not custom. So if you've got a simple foot drop, like we talked about in the beginning, where you don't necessarily have a lot of spasticity, you don't really have lateral instability. And what I mean by that is when you lift your foot, that's called dorsiflexion. When you point your toes, that's plantar flexion. But then there's also these movements called inversion and eversion. Inversion is when the foot kind of curves in. Eversion is when it kind of curves out. When you're walking, you need both dorsiflexion and a little eversion, so it goes up and out. So those are also muscles that are important. And a lot of times with MS, you might not have that stability because of weakness to those everters or inverters. This Sabo step is great, just works on dorsiflexion. So it, if you can see, it ties into the laces of your shoes and goes around your ankle. So it just lifts up your toe as you walk and the heel comes down. It not really going to add a lot to lateral stability. You can see a little bit, the little strings kind of come out of the sides of that ankle strap. So it gives you a little lateral stability, just not a lot. If you want more lateral stability, if you have more spasticity or weakness, and you let's say when you put your foot down, you tend to turn your ankle in or out, then you need more lateral stability. So this might not be the best option, but it's a great one to try first. I think when I first started developing foot drop, I just had that problem with just catching the toe. It just wouldn't lift up. So I started out with something, not this one, but something off the shelf that wasn't custom. And usually, even though insurance would pay for it, wasn't as expensive. These other off the shelf ones, there's a whole variety here. Now this slide looks at both custom and off the shelf. But custom ones tend to be made of either a lightweight plastic or they could be made of a carbon, very lightweight carbon. The first one I owned, I think, was made by Allard, Allard, and I think we have a picture.
Is this
Not that,
that
that's a
one?
different one. That's a different one. I think the Allard might be, yeah. So on the top there, that looks like them. They're kind of carbon composite. And so the foot plate is very thin and it's very, very lightweight. It actually goes underneath the insole of your shoe. So you can still have your insole on top, which gives you the nice cushion. And all it does is lift your toe up. So it keeps your your angle at about 90 degrees so that when that heel comes down, the toe is already up. And this is great for if you just have some foot drop, but not lateral instability because it doesn't give you the lateral stability. Or you've got strong hip flexors, strong knee flexors, so you can bend your hip and knee. All you need is that little help getting that heel down. Perfect. And I used that first because I was pretty strong. I wasn't having the other issues. I was mainly having just the foot drop. As time progressed, I needed something different. So I had to go to something. But there's a bunch of these off-the-shelf options that different orthotist companies will make, whether it's Hanger or Otterbach or just a variety of companies that might be in your individual cities that sell both custom and off the shelf. So if you just got simple foot drop and not a lot of lateral instability, this is a good first way to go. They're very lightweight. They fit into a shoe easily. They're not very uncomfortable. You can't wear any type of shoe with them. You've got to have something that'll fit into with an insole. It's not like you can wear your heels, but I don't know about y'all, but I don't wear my heels anyway anymore. That's long ago, far away. Okay, so then you have custom. So custom are casted to you. And I soon after got weaker when started doing custom because I had a lot of lateral instability where when I would move my foot through what they call the swing phase, when you're swinging your leg through, my ankle would turn in. I had less what they call eversion, my toes coming out. And that's another version of off the shelf. That one is called the Turbo. And what that does is kind of interesting. We actually have one at St. David's. You can see that bar that actually attaches to the shoe and then goes around your shin. So again, that's another example of something that's off the shelf, but it's a little bit different. Custom. My latest custom, the custom, I have one that's brand new, but this is the one I had before. So you can see with the custom, it's casted to you. And this is a material that's made partly of some plastic, but also some carbon. So it's very strong because of the carbon fiber that's in it. I had to do a lot of adjusting over the years, adding things to make it a little more comfortable. It's big, but does fit in my tennis shoe. And you take the insole out because unlike the ones that are really lightweight and thin, can't put the insole back on it. You don't have room. And you have to just take the insole out, and you have to kind of sometimes make your shoes a little bit bigger. It might go a half size more to fit it. This goes around your shin, of course. And this thing I didn't used to have one of these, but I added it because I had such weak hip flexors. I was trying to figure out a way to get not only keep my toe from catching, but also to get my hip flexors to work and get myself to lift my leg a little higher. So this acts as a spring. So when you push off the toe on the floor, if you push off hard enough, which takes effort because you got to have strong calf muscles, you push off, it helps to spring that leg forward. It helped me for a while. This is probably almost 4 years old now. So I just got a new one. My new one is different because once you've got like I have not just foot drop, I have a lot of spasticity in my calf. I do Botox for that every 3 months or so, but it doesn't fix everything. So I have like what they call a contracture. I can't get my ankle to completely 90-degree neutral unless I really push hard. So a regular brace is not going to do that. And what you end up doing if you don't have your foot in a good position, you end up doing all sorts of strange things with your ankle. So I got to where my left toe would kind of turn out, and I pronated so hard. When I say pronation, I mean you're kind of almost walking on the inside of your foot, called pronation or flat foot. And I was leaning so hard and pronating so hard and inside my foot that the toe started pointing out. And that was making my gait all sorts of funky. And my brace is really painful. So I just got a new one and I'm not used to it yet. We'll see how it goes. So this is a new custom one. Now, as you can see, it's in slight plantar flexion. So it's not completely 90 degrees. And he casted me that way because that's the way my foot is now. I don't get to 90 degrees. I'm in slight plantar flexion. So because of that, I'm a little more on my toes, but because of that, I'm not forcing my foot into dorsiflexion, I'm not forcing my foot flat anymore. And so I'm not turning my toes out. So this allows me to keep my foot in better alignment, even though I'm still getting used to this piece, which is now on the front below my knee instead of back. And that's to help me keep from buckling, kind of presses your knee back into extension as you walk. I'm still getting used to it. I just got it right before I came to Minnesota. So, and again, it's got some decent padding and it's got these little things to help keep your foot in. And again, it's casted to me. So no one else can wear.
Kathy, how much something like that cost? What are we
Oh my
talking?
gosh, if I didn't have insurance, I'd have no idea. Thousands of dollars.
Okay.
Usually depending on the insurance company, they don't pay for a new one except for every 5 years, but it kind of depends. So I got my last one in 2021 in September. So it's almost been 4 years. But because I have a change in status, so if you can tell the insurance company, hey, this brace was great for a while, but I'm weaker, I have more spasticity, I have less strength, and my gait has changed considerably, and I have a lot of pain from that old brace because of those musculoskeletal changes. So I need this, it's medically necessary. So it takes the other thing I did with my orthotist in Austin was I'm actually, doing physical therapy myself at my place of employment with one of my colleagues. And I had her send the notes to the orthotist to say, back up, scientifically, hey, this is what she's having and this is why she needs this new brace. So you got to get someone to work with you, a therapist or a doctor who can actually give you that documentation. I'm not sure this is going to work for me. Ultimately, what I would impress upon anyone who's getting a custom AFO more than anything else is I can't tell you how many of my patients have gotten an AFO and it's in their closet for the rest of their lives. If it hurts, go back over and over and over and over until it's right. You pay too much money and you pay for your insurance and it's not worth not being comfortable. You have to find something that's going to work for you, and a good orthotist we'll make it work. We'll keep trying until it does. So usually you pay for it, but that's not the last time they see me. I can't tell you how many times. This was done by one of the hanger orthotists in Austin. And I went to him because I knew him personally. He used to own his own business and he was really good. He unfortunately doesn't live there anymore. And I went back to him a million times until I get this right. And then as I was changed, it would start bugging me and I'd go back and he'd make more adjustments. So a good orthotist will do that, or a good company. This is a newer company that I'm using in Austin. He just went out on his own, but he used to work for Otterbach. So far things seem well. He seems like he's a really good guy. So I'm hoping that it stays that way. So that's the other option. Then not last, but the big thing is using something called FES, which is functional electrical stimulation. So there's a whole bunch of different things out there. The very first one I ever tried was called the Walk Aid. I don't even know if the Walk Aid is still being made. At the time, this was back in, early 2000s, early mid 2000s. Their company was in Austin. And so I met the rep real early on and started using it in our facility, actually obtained a Walk Aid. At this point in time, I don't even know if they still make them. I know that company's not there anymore. But we now have what's called the Bioness. And the Bioness, maybe you've heard of, they have an L300 Go. And so when can you go back that 1 second for that picture? So you can see that what this does is you put the electrodes kind of on the outside or the lateral side of your leg. It innervates the peroneal nerve to help you get that dorsiflexion and eversion, to get the foot kind of up and out. And the way it works is that you have to set it up, and with the Bioness, we have one of these at St. David's also, where you have this. It works with Bluetooth. You have a cuff that goes around your leg just under the knee. It's got electrodes on it that lines up with the peroneal nerve, one on the nerve and one on the anterior tibialis muscle in the front of the shin. And you time it to your walking. So we go around with this little, what's that word? Tablet, like a little tablet that comes with and has a program on it. We program it to match what you're doing when you're walking, so that the stim goes off as you're swinging your leg through, and then it stops stimming you when your heel hits. And it takes some tweaking to get that rhythm down. Some people it works really well with. Some people it's really doesn't work really well, depending on if they have a lot of spasticity and they just can't get any good clearance. So that's why stretching is so important. Stretch as if your life depends on it. It's really important. So that's another option, is that Bioness. And if anyone lives in Austin and wants to try it, we have one of those. It also comes with, there's the L300, but then there's another part that goes around. I don't know if you have a picture of this, but it also goes around the thigh. So it's a thigh cuff. That's the cuff that goes around the lower leg, but they also have a thigh cuff. And that one helps to bend the knee as you're walking. So it's those two parts. Another one is this one. This one, we've had it in service at St. David's. We do not own this. It's by a neuro rehab recovery company. It's called Neuro Rehab Recovery. It works kind of the same way. It works on the peroneal nerve to try to lift your foot up, and it times it to your walking in real time. I have not used this. They came and presented to our department, but I have not used it. I think that it's a little less expensive. The one thing about things like FES is that a lot of times insurance won't cover them. I don't know why, but they don't. There might be some that do, or like I know with a Bioness, I think they cover it for certain diagnoses, but not for MS. I think they cover it for incomplete spinal cord injury. So a lot of times these are out of pocket, and I know the Bioness is about $6,000, so I can't afford it. So that's unfortunate because they can be really helpful. Another one I think there's called the Allfest. This one I also have not used myself, and I've not had any training on it. It's just one of those things that's out there. Again, some of them I have better prices. Like if insurance doesn't pay for it, there might be some that are cheaper than others. So you can always look them up and see what they're. And actually, this one you can see is made by Allard. Allard is the company that also made that very first off-the-shelf brace that was made out of carbon fiber very lightweight. So they've branched out in doing functional e-stim as well. And then we have this lovely thing. So I have one of these. I got it right after it was FDA approved. It took a while for me to. Hey there, Kathy Bolstorff here from MS Workouts. I'm a physical therapist with over 25 years of experience, and I currently work at St. David's Medical Center in Austin, Texas, where I specialize in neurorehabilitation and MS care. I'm also living with MS myself, so I understand both professionally and personally how complex this journey can be. I want to take a moment to tell you about something that's really close to my heart, our MS Workouts membership program. This isn't just about exercise. It's about having a plan, a path, and a community that truly understands what it means to live with MS. When you become a member, you'll get access to a full library of MS-friendly sessions, including strength training, stretching, aerobic classes, and physical therapy drills. Weekly success maps, your personalized day-by-day movement plan designed to support your symptoms, energy levels, and goals. Live Q&A sessions with our team of physical therapists and MS specialists, including me. Let me take a moment to explain the success map because it's one of the most important things we offer. When you join, you'll complete a comprehensive assessment that gives me a detailed picture of your current function, symptoms, energy patterns, and goals. I personally review each one and build a structured weekly plan showing you exactly what to do each day. Your success map includes a carefully balanced combination of Steadypace strength training sessions and movement-based recovery tools like PT drills, stretching, and functional mobility work, all tailored to your individual needs. At the core of all of this is our Steadypace technique, a clinically informed method that emphasizes slow, controlled movements to safely activate your muscles, challenge your strength, and minimize risk of injury or fatigue. It's intense, but low impact, and it works. At MS Workouts, we don't just help you build strength, we help you rebuild confidence, protect function, and stay engaged in the life you want to live. If that's what you've been looking for, I'd love to welcome you into the MS Workouts family. Visit www.msworkouts.com to get started.
Our YouTube channel is a great place to start gaining strength, but if you want to get serious about reducing your symptoms and getting results, then you need to be on a weekly structured strength training program with other individuals just like you. And that's exactly what we offer at MS Workouts through our membership. Click the link in the video or below the video to learn how our membership can help you achieve your goals. And while you're on the website, make sure you sign up for the no-cost 7-day strength camp so you can experience how we can help you do the things that you love to do with more confidence. See you all next week.